I grew up in the Midwest, and as a child, I had an opportunity to explore the real physical world. In many ways, I walked to school almost every day for some of the grades, some of the time. Like for example, in grade school, even I think I walked to school every day from fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. Just walking to school. In the winter, there was mounds of snow at the edges of the parking lots. Best thing would be a grocery store parking lot where the snow plows would pile up the snow on the sides, and then on the way home from school, you could climb up to the top of the mounds and slide down. And we would play in the snow on the way to school, on the way from school. In the summers, we would go to school early and play kickball. And you get there 30 minutes early, and everybody's just playing and having fun. As a young child, I played in a sandbox. We had a large sandbox that was built out of railroad ties, and I got to build a treehouse and a swing, like a trapeze, a very big one, very large, tall, and got to swing on that trapeze and do like flips off the trapeze and things like that. And the reason I mention all this is just to point out that today, children are denied these opportunities to experience the real world. Most children. Not all. Some children grow up on ranches, some are homeschooled, some go on field trips and so on. But a lot of kids today, all they know is the TV and the mobile device and the Snapchat, or the online role-playing game, or their parents' air-conditioned car to and from school. And these kids have, in many cases, never learned how to ride a bike or swim. They don't know how to swim. They don't know how to ride a skateboard. They've never jumped a ramp on a bicycle. They've never ridden a bike without a helmet. They've never walked down the railroad tracks. See, they've never jumped off a rope into a pond or a stream, because all those things today are considered too dangerous. So in order to protect kids, parents now lock them in virtual prisons of television and online worlds and mobile devices and social media. That's considered safe. Oh, you're safe. Because God forbid if you stuck your hand in a river, you might get a flesh-eating bacteria. So much better to have your brain eaten away by social media than to have the risk of an unknown bacterium in the real world landing on your pinky. See, I think they've got the risk all wrong. I think the real risk comes in raising children as indoor humans. That's the real risk, because they're nature deficient. They're missing out on the real world. They're missing out on their hands-on experiences, fixing a flat tire on a bicycle on the way to school. They're missing the things that really matter. Camping out with friends in middle school on a Friday night, swimming in a swimming hole, building a campfire, roasting marshmallows. All these things that today's kids miss out on. So many of them do. And then we wonder why they're snowflakes. You see, snowflake, fragile, can't handle anything that they don't already agree with. They get triggered by everything in the real world. You wonder why they're triggered. It's because they've never dealt with anything that challenged them. They've never seen reality. They've never really faced off against adversity. Never had to climb a rope, never had to climb a wall, never had to cut firewood even, for that matter. They have soft little palms from playing on the gaming consoles, but not doing anything with their real hands in the real world. When I was in the 7th grade, my friends and I would ride motorcycles. And I think most of those friends are still alive, come to think of it. We ride motorcycles, unattended, no parents, no helmets, nothing. And yeah, we survived. We're still here. Because when you're in the real world, you start to learn some wisdom. You start to learn, how to stay alive. You start to learn about what's a good risk to take and what's a bad risk to take. Oh, one of my friends broke his collarbone. Jumping his bike over a stream off a giant kind of sandbar on one side, and he did not keep the bike level. He landed on his face and broke his collarbone, and that's when we all learned, maybe if you jump with your bike, you should have a ramp on both sides of the stream. So see, we learn things. We learn important things. We learn things like if your friend has a motorcycle and you have a skateboard, don't let your friend tow you down a concrete street with a rope. That's an interesting lesson. My friend recovered just fine, but it was a doozy, let me tell you. I've never seen so much blood in my life, but, skin heals. The thing is, you learn. You learn things. And instead of becoming a cry bully or a snowflake, you become someone who's capable. Someone who can deal with adversity, someone who can assess cause and effect in the world around you. And then because of that, you gain something called wisdom. And as you get older, the wisdom gets more deep. And you become someone who's actually pretty good at navigating the world. Someone who can overcome problems, obstacles. And that's what today's kids are lacking. So instead of them overcoming obstacles, they just scream and complain and whine and accuse and try to shape the world to meet their demands instead of them being resilient and adaptive to the reality of the world around them. That's the difference. People in my generation, the way we were raised, we adapt and overcome. We see the world around us as something that it is the way it is. I'm talking about like the physical world and so on, gravity, momentum, kinetic motion. And we adapt and overcome and solve problems. But today's kids, they see the world around them and they just scream at the law of gravity. How dare we don't like gravity. They don't like free market economics. They don't like money. They don't like borders. They don't like law and order. They don't like rules because they never had to abide by any rules in the real world. They could just play in a game, and then when they die, they get to respawn as another character. They get to do whatever they want. Even if they're killed, they're just recreated instantly, so there are no consequences for their actions. That's the difference. So I think we should celebrate everybody right now who was raised in the 1970s and the 1980s before the internet, because we are the real people. We're the children of reality, not the children of artificial worlds. And there's something to be said about people who grew up in reality. We know how to solve real problems in the real world. Just something to think about. Thanks for listening. Mike Adams here, the Health Ranger.
Learn more at healthrangerreport.com.
Thank you for watching. If you want to support our mission, visit us at healthrangerstore.com for the world's largest selection of lab-verified superfood and nutritional products for healthy living. It's at healthrangerstore.com.